And regarding this matter, we have on the phone joining our program right now is คุณกอบสิทธิ์ศิลปชัย the head of the market and economic research from กสิกร Bank สวัสดีครับคุณกอบสิทธิ์ and thank you so much for joining our program tonight.
Thank you for having me.
คุณกอบสิทธิ์ครับ last year most traders expected that the baht would hit 28 baht level to the US dollar later this year, but today we saw the baht at 28 already. What was happening?
Well, I think that if you look at our currency, it's largely driven by a lot of capital flows. We are probably one of the major casualties of the currency war that is ongoing since the U.S. Continued with its quantitative easing program, and now that the BOJ is going to double its monetary base, the the baht currency is one of the more attractive investment vehicles for hedge funds.
So, Kun Kobsithi, would you be another economist to agree that the monetary easing from the Bank of Japan this time has impacted the baht for rising?
Yes, we have to look at the fact that after the subprime crisis, most central banks, including the Fed, the ECB, and the Bank of England, have more or less expanded their balance sheet by several folds, while at the same time the BOJ hardly expanded their balance sheet. So what they're doing is basically a game of catch-up. Now, with the Fed still continuing to print about 85 billion US dollars a month, and the Bank of Japan is going to be doing something between 60 to 70 billion a month as well, that's going to add to the global liquidity. So if you compare what you can make with that currency in their local markets, interest rates in the U.S. is almost at zero. Interest rates in Japan is at zero. Interest rates in the Eurozone is maybe 75 basis points. So the money, the interest level that we have in Asia is rather attractive in comparison to what you can get if you put money back into those economies. So therefore, as there is more money in the global liquidity markets, this kind of money is going to try to find the best return that they can get within a given period of time.
Right, and in your view, what should be the appropriate range of the baht versus the US dollar throughout this year?
Well, if we take a gauge of what our customers in terms of exports, they have basically, we're hoping and budgeting somewhere between 30 baht to the dollar. They would do okay. They're not going to do in a stellar fashion in terms of their export performance. As long as it's over 30, they're pretty happy with it. But now that's gone. That's history now. What we think will happen is, of course, the baht will not move in linear fashion. There are going to be some instances where there are going to be corrections on the way. For example, within the next 2 months, the companies that are listed on this Thai stock exchange will start to pay dividends, and foreigners also own these shares. So there are going to be some capital that is going to leave the country in the form of dividend remittances. So therefore, there might be a very choppy pattern in terms of trade of dollar Thai baht going forward. But we think that in the interim, it will probably hover around 29 baht to the dollar, but we have a target of about 28.50 by the end of the year.
Now, as we are an export-driven country, Kun Kobsithi, do you predict that this condition of the strengthening of the baht will prolong any longer? 2 months would be maximum?
Well, I think that there are certain conditions which can try to help ameliorate the loss of competitiveness, but it seems like the policymakers are not buying that theory that if you cut interest rates, it will help to reduce the attractiveness of the currency as a investment destination. So if we write that off, that the policymakers are reluctant to cut interest rates, we have to analyze what is the cause or what are the channels in which hedge funds are speculating on the currency. Because if you look at today, the year-to-date performance, the baht is one of the strongest currencies within the Asia region. Therefore, what we notice is that when hedge funds speculate on a currency, they have to try to buy assets which are in cash in nature as much as possible. And what we have noticed is that the central bank, through its policy of FX intervention or sterilization, they issue their own paper, their own BOT bonds, And this is probably a vehicle which the hedge funds use in order to get a position in getting Thai baht assets. So therefore, in order to help ease this tension or ease this pressure, we think that the central bank should start to think about issuing longer dated bonds as a part of its sterilization and FX innovation process.
Right. Thank you so much, Kun Kopsit, for joining our program tonight.
Thank you for having me.